Good morning. So, you know what this video is, you've seen the title. We're here to get on with my PhD. This video is going to be a come along with me on a day as a PhD student of writing up my thesis and hopefully just getting things done. It's a day in my life as a PhD student. I have had requests to do a video like this ever since I started my PhD, which was 6 years ago now. I'm a part-time PhD student, and it has taken me until now, the last final few months, to film one. I think because not only is a PhD student's lifestyle quite irregular as it is, a lot has happened in the time I've been a PhD student. I became my dad's carer when he was terminally ill. I moved to London at one point. I moved back to Edinburgh at one point. There was, a worldwide pandemic, and I've been working alongside doing my PhD the whole time in different iterations because it is part-time. So my life is not regular. There is no one day of what it is like to be a freelancer or be a PhD student. But at the moment, I am very much focused on writing up the final version of my thesis because I'm submitting in June. It's March. No, it's April now when I'm filming this. Oh, I'm in denial. So only a few months left, and I have 3 main chapters in my thesis. The first of which is redrafted and written up. The second of which I'm currently redrafting, and I have redrafted about 7,000 words, which leaves me with about 10,000 still to redraft, and I need to get that redrafted in the next week/fortnight because I have a meeting with my supervisors to discuss the revised version in that time frame. So that's what I'm working on today, getting more words redrafted, getting words changed and added and deleted and reworked and bettered, etc, etc. For those who are curious and have just turned up on my channel for this video, my PhD is on the politicization of sexual assault in 4th century Athens. I did a whole video all about what my PhD thesis is about, which I'll link in the comments down below, last year, and I am naturally a member of the ancient history classics department at the University of Wolverhampton, where I'm undertaking my PhD, which, like I said, I've been doing for 6 years now because I also work alongside my PhD and have been writing books alongside my PhD during that time. But yeah, you're not interested in what I do on the side, you're interested in what I do for my PhD on a daily basis, which is today, because this is very much the main project of my life right now. In the past, it hasn't always been. In the past, for example, I've been working on book manuscripts and PhD takes a back seat, and I very much take advantage of that part-time title, whereas now with the submission deadline imminent, it is my main project. I only really have one other big thing going on, but I'm very much on top of that, if not ahead of that. So it's PhD pretty much every day at the moment for me. And today is one of those days. So yeah, let's get on with the day. The first thing I do when I get up in the morning is emails. I'm self-employed. Like I said before, I also am an author and a social media manager. So even on days where I'm not focusing on that work, I do like to start off by checking my emails, and that goes for my university emails too. So I go for my work emails, my university emails, anything that maybe came in at the end of the day before, anything that I've maybe been mulling over and haven't had a chance to reply yet and was sort of spending the evening thinking about, or emails that I want to write. Basically, I start off by doing that. If I'm being perfectly honest, I don't usually look like this. I have my coffee and I do my emails when I wake up in the morning around 7, and then I have a shower at maybe 8 or something like that. but because I was filming the video, I thought, hey, I'll do the shower at 7, make myself presentable, and then do the emails and the coffee at 8 instead. So that's what we're doing just now, and then I try to get started on my PhD or whatever work project I have to do by 9. Doesn't always work out like that. Sometimes I'm started at 8:30, sometimes I wake up earlier in the morning, sometimes I'm having a terrible period and I can't find the sort of like brain power to actually start writing my PhD until 10, and like whatever, that's fine as long as it gets done. So yeah, I'm just replying to some emails and doing that quickly just now before I actually like crack on with editing the chapter of my thesis I'm currently redrafting, which, if you're interested, is all about Helen of Troy, or at least the rhetorical use of Helen of Troy in Greek court speeches. So yeah, maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about what's actually in the chapter as I'm writing it. But first, emails, coffee, and actually some breakfast, because I haven't eaten. I just got some post, thought I'd just take a little break from editing to open my parcels with you, because I don't know, it just makes it more fun when you do it with other people. Although I'm now thinking I need scissors. One sec. Okay, I have scissors, I can open my post, and while I open it, let's talk a little bit about the specific chapter that I'm editing. So I mentioned it was about Helen of Troy, and that is because there is a public funeral speech that was delivered by the orator Hyperides in the aftermath of one of the seasons of war between Macedon and Athens, or Macedon and the Greeks, but specifically Athens, against Antipater, who was one of Alexander the Great's successors. And in this battle, Athens actually did very well. In the end, in the war, they didn't, but in this battle, they'd done really well. So it was a sort of celebratory funeral speech where the dead soldiers were being honoured for their sacrifice to the city. And in that speech, he talks about how their sacrifice and this decision to go to war against the Macedonians was partially, you know, to protect their women, in the same way that, according to him, the Greeks were defending Helen as part of the Trojan War, which is not like a consistent interpretation of the Trojan War, but it's a very deliberate interpretation by Hyperides to appeal to Athenian values. And that's very much what my thesis is about. It's about the way in which Athenian values and Athenian self-image is tied up in it being a protector of women against sexual violence from the sort of sexually violent other. And this appears in the way that orators use mythology in their speeches. So yeah, I am editing that chapter. The previous chapter was on the myth of Procne and Philomela and the way that that incident of sexual violence was used by orators. And the third chapter is about Alcippe, who was the daughter of Ares. But right now, my brain is just Helen, 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 Helen all the time. And I love Helen, and I feel like she is a woman done wrong in many, many ways. So that's what my thesis is about. What have I got in the post? I got a ring. Look at this beauty. So I very recently committed to becoming a ring person. This one's actually adjustable because I'm getting used to rings and I'm a little bit unsure about ring sizes, especially when you're ordering online. So this is an adjustable gold-plated ring that I got from the brand Shoot the Moon, which is a small independent brand based in Scotland that sell on Etsy, and their rings are stunning. There are quite a few which I have my eye on, but I decided to start with this one, which will it focus if I do this? Maybe not. It's sort of like a little leaf design with, I'm pretty sure, just a cubic zirconia there in the middle stone wise, but it's lovely. Oh my goodness, it's even nicer in person than I hoped it was going to be. I'll link it down below if you're interested. Obviously, it's got nothing to do with my PhD, but a PhD day does include opening whatever I get in the post that day. And I feel like that sort of brightens up your day as well. Not saying you should just consistently order yourself things online so you get post. But it was my birthday recently. I got a new book deal. I just felt like treating myself, and one of those things was a ring. Plus, you should totally buy yourself jewellery. You shouldn't wait for other people to buy. You should jewellerify yourself, if that's even a word. Helen would, let's be honest. So then, oh, this is so exciting. And there's sweeties. This one has sweeties with it. This is something I've wanted to buy for a long, long, long time, and it's my very own set of runes, so rune stones. If you've not seen rune stones before, they are a set of stones with runes on them that have different meanings, and you effectively like tumble them, you roll them, and it's a sort of like divination art. I really, really like tarot and have always wanted to try rune stones, and my attitude and my way of using tarot is that it's a way to be introspective. It's a way to sort of see how you interpret the stones based on what they're supposed to say, and how it makes you look within yourself and at what's going on in your life. And they're quite meditative when I do my tarot, so I thought it might be nice to try something else like rune stones, and I've wanted to do so for a long time, and decided to pick this amethyst setup. I love amethyst stones as well. They're beautiful, from another small Etsy store, which I'll obviously link down below. And this is a little pouch they came in, so I'm probably gonna try them tonight. I'll let you know how I get on, since I've never done rune stones before. And then I think that this parcel is a dress I bought myself on Depop, because I love secondhand clothes and summer's coming, so I want to get dressed for the season. Plus, this was like £5. It's a lovely vintage dress that someone, like I said, was selling for about £5, and it's this just lovely plain little floaty lilac dress. It's gorgeous, and it was so cheap. I love selling things on Depop and clearing way for new things in my wardrobe, and then using that money to buy new things on Depop. So I did actually have a clear out, and I'm currently sort of clearing out some of my clothes, and decided to replace some of it with this, which I love. Oh, well, that was a nice break in my day. Ring, rune stones, and dress. Now I guess I better go back to work, and I'll just tell you more about my thesis and what I do in a day as I get on with it. I've reached that point in the day where everything just starts to feel pointless and like it's going nowhere, and I'm making no progress. I have edited some words. I have mulled on things. I have looked up some things, verified some things, added in some scholars, and checked and double checked some things. But there's always just a point in the day where I just feel like, this is my absolute slump period. It's going on 2 o'clock. And what I would usually do at this point is go for a walk, just like get some fresh air. But it's bucketing with rain. And this is the problem with Scotland, is that like just getting outside isn't always the easiest thing because it's horrific. So I might eat something. Well, I will eat something because I haven't had lunch yet. So I'm going to eat some lunch and take a sort of mental checkout break. Probably watch Criminal Minds for a little bit, for half an hour or something, just to, you know, like zone out and do something else, because I think your brain needs that. And then see what the weather's looking like, and whether I think I could go for a little stomp about in some puddles to maybe get some fresh air. Yeah, I managed about 10 minutes. It's disgusting out there. But at least my lungs breathed something fresh. That's what we'll tell ourselves. And I think I'll make myself a coffee and get... I've been filming so many random little clips on it and not paying attention to the battery life, which means this is being recorded on the photo booth app on my computer. But to be honest, it's got the vibe, like it's got the energy of where we're at on the sort of scale of organisation and wherewithal. So it's the back of 6 now. I definitely slowed down after lunch and attempting to take a walk. I had to do something else for my brain for a little bit, so I ended up clearing out my clothes and getting rid of some clothes, which was good because it made me feel like there was less crap around me, and it's all about mental space, isn't it? So yeah, I did that. Now I am back at it, have been back at it for a little while, and I'll probably keep going for a little bit longer into the evening, just because I feel like I'm a little bit more attuned to it than I was a few hours ago, so I want to take advantage of that. And I've also found some stuff I want to read, because apparently even when you're at the redrafting stage of a PhD thesis, you're still reading more scholarship and you are still finding more scholars. One of the things I found in particular with this chapter is that in part it relies quite heavily on the scholarship of Kathy Gacka in certain points, because Kathy Gacka has done some of the most crucial and in-depth research into women during wartime in ancient Greece. And because this funeral speech that I've mentioned is discussing the potential sexual violence that stems from wartime, and it's referencing mythological narratives that involve both sexual violence and war, it's obviously a large theme of the chapter. However, it really wasn't until the past few years / decade that this became a area of research that scholars started to pay more attention to. It was never the hot topic, women in wartime. I don't know if that is true for other disciplines, it may very well be, but in classics at least, the effects of war on women and sexual violence during wartime, and just all of those tangential subjects were ones that were not as widely researched. So there is some research into it, definitely, but it's limited, and because of that, like I said, I think I've ended up relying a little bit too heavily on Kathy Gacka, and I need to diversify the scholarship in some of my footnotes. I know it gets that nitty-gritty in the way you're thinking about it, but I know there's other stuff out there. It's just sometimes buried. It's not necessarily in an article titled "This was the effects of war on women." It's in an article like the one I'm reading just now called Rhetoric and Historical Narrative, the Theban-Athenian Alliance of 339 BCE. So yeah, we're kind of on that train right now. It's frustrating because it doesn't necessarily feel like you're going forward when you end up on tangents like this. I say tangent, it's not a tangent, it's an important part of the research, but you're not just typing up what you have already and formalising it all, you're adding new things in, and that, like I said, can feel a little bit frustrating because it doesn't feel as clear-cut, forward moving, but it is vital. And I think in a sense writing up your thesis is just a little bit of a messy job, because it is finding those gaps and it's spotting those moments where you need to bulk things out, where you need to articulate better, where you need to maybe introduce some different points of view, etc, etc. I've probably redrafted half of this chapter in total, but this is the point, this is the part in the chapter where I feel like it's lacking something, so I'm kind of working on that. And it might be a little bit slow going, but I should be able to do it over the course of this week. It's not entirely new research. It's not a whole new piece of research or a whole new argument I'm trying to make. I'm just trying to draw out some themes and elements of it. I've also been referencing this book, which is Women at War in the Classical World by Paul Crystal, which is more about women who actually get involved in the fighting than it is about the effects of war on women and non-combative women, but it's still relevant and helpful, and it actually came out during my research, which is always fun to look back on, to think that when I started my PhD this book didn't exist. It wasn't out there, it wasn't on the shelves of bookshelves. It probably existed in the scholar's mind, if not in a draft form, but when I started my thesis, it didn't exist. But yeah, I think I'm rambling. The problem with doing a day in the life of a PhD student is I kind of have to talk about the specifics of my research, but it's also a little bit out of context because it's just a random chapter that I'm writing near the end, and I don't know how much any of this is making sense. But hopefully the state of disarray I'm in, and to be honest, it's worse than you're seeing on camera because I don't record the worst moments, is reassuring if you're in a similar position. But for now, I'm going to get back to it. I just tried to touch screen my laptop to turn the camera off. It's not touch screen. Her bed linen because it's nighttime and I CBA at this point. I would call this day a middling when it comes to the productivity scale in terms of PhD. Maybe like a sort of solid 5 on a scale of 1 to 10, to be honest. Like, did some stuff, nothing spectacular, but didn't do nothing, which, you know, counts for something. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Good choice of day to take you on a work with me venture, but to be honest, like, not sure really what would have been different if it had been more productive in terms of this video, because it would have still just been the same clips of me staring at my computer and typing. But this is the real honest truth, and I think I already mentioned earlier in the video that I am on an L period at the moment, so my brain is always just a little bit slower and a little bit fuzzier during this time of the month, so it's really no surprise. In fact, well done me for doing anything, because periods suck. And I should be done, not tomorrow but the next day, with the period, not the PhD. That's not a cushion that needs a pillow taken off of it. So yeah, we'll, I'm sure, manage to get a lot more done this week. It's only Tuesday, I don't know if I said that, so in terms of like where I wanted to be for the week, I'm not behind. I still think I could manage what I want to achieve this week, and that's like an uplifting thought. So yeah, tomorrow I'll be getting up early and getting back to it again, after having woken up in my lovely clean bed linen that I'm about to put on, which is exciting. Honestly, clean bed linen is one of like my pure small joys in life. I love it so much. But it's been interesting kind of filming clips throughout the day. I really don't know how this video is going to edit together. I don't know what it's going to be like to watch, but people are always asking for a day in the life of a PhD student, and to be honest, this is it. For me, who is a historian with a focus on court speeches, this is my day-to-day, and I am so excited to be done soon, but it's only going to get done if I keep at it. So more days like this, and even more productive days in the next few weeks and months, hopefully. But otherwise, I hope you've enjoyed whatever this video ended up being, and well done if you stuck it out till the end. I am now going to go finish making my bed and probably just chill and do some reading for the evening, because it's important to take care of yourself and not kind of hustle and work yourself to the bone until you're mentally and physically ill. And I hate that idea and I hate that culture, and that's not to say that I don't get stressed or I don't have days where I, you know, put in more than the sort of 9-hour working day or whatever, but I function my best overall if I have my evenings to chill, and in the long term that's better for me, my work, my PhD, and my entire life really, physically, mentally and emotionally. So that's my advice. That's what I'm going to leave you with, and I'm now going to go read my book. Oh, I almost forgot. Happy reading, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye everyone.